Good morning. Today is July 5th, 2026, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the story that's been making headlines around the world. We are jumping into this Meghan Markle Prince Harry watch as they are planning and going back to London. I believe they're supposed to be there July 7 through July 11. Although I'm looking at some news reports this morning, and they are now saying Meghan Markle and the two kids will not be joining Prince Harry in London despite earlier expectations and news briefing that the family would travel together. So, for some royal watchers, this was supposed to be an important moment. Others remain to be skeptical, and I cannot blame them for that. It could have been the first time in years that King Charles would spend time with his grandchildren from Meghan and Prince Harry. It would also have been another opportunity to show that despite years and years and years of tension, that there might still be some room for reconciliation within the royal family. But it looks like the plans appeared to have changed. And so today, let's talk about what happened. Why security continues to be a major issue for Prince Harry despite of going to other parts of the world, like let's say Colombia, for one. Okay, so they were also vacationing as well just recently. I think they are in Europe right now too, vacationing. So, what this means for this relationship with the royal family, or his relationship with the royal family, and whether we will ever see the Sussex family comfortably return to United Kingdom. Okay, so Prince Harry is scheduled to be in London this coming week, and this is part of events marking the 1 year countdown to the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham. Okay, last week there were some news briefing, and I would say growing speculation that Meghan Markle and the children would be traveling with him. The last time they were in the UK, I believe, was during Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in 2022. So that would be 4 years ago. And Lilibet, the younger one in particular, has spent very, very little time in Great Britain. So some royal fans, especially those who are pro Sussex, were hoping that this visit could become a turning point, not just for Harry and Meghan, but for the next generation of the royal family. And of course, there is that other part of the population, right? There is that other half, or, bigger portion that would say this is probably not going to ever happen, and that Harry and Meghan are trying to use all their leverage, which are their children, to see if they can infiltrate the royal family while King Charles is still there. Okay? So, just recently, according to recent reports and some publications out there, Harry, it looks like, will be traveling alone. And of course, I feel like Meghan Markle will still show up because she needs it. She needs it for her failing brand. So she's not gonna say no to every opportunity or any opportunity to advertise herself and her brand. So one of the reasons why there is a change in plan is because of security. Then this is my honest opinion. I'll be very honest with you. I find this explanation harder and harder to accept. And this is not the very first time we've heard security argument. And in fact, it seems to come up every single time there's a discussion about Harry returning to the UK with his family. At some point in time, we have to ask, is this really a issue about security? Or has it become Meghan Markle's convenient reason for keeping distance from the royal family? And I cannot blame her because for everything that she's done and everything that she has said, all these years, if I'm on her shoes, I will not have the face to return back to the UK as well. Okay, so let's remember a few facts here too. So Prince Harry made the decision to step away as a senior working royal in 2020. Okay, and that was his choice. A choice he made with his wife, Meghan Markle. Along with that decision came changes to his role, his funding, and his official security arrangements. Okay, and those changes were discussed on the Sandringham Summit. We know that. It's been on the news, all over the news back in 2020. Those were not punishment. And they were the consequences of choosing a different life. Just like what everybody's saying, if you quit your job, your benefits, you cannot continue having them. The benefits also stop. Following that meeting, the palace released a statement making it clear that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle would no longer be working members of the royal family, and that they would no longer receive public funding through the sovereign grant, and they would begin transitioning away from their official arrangements that came with being senior royals. And that includes their security arrangements. So that, in other words, the consequences of stepping away were part of the agreement from the very beginning. So that whether Harry liked those terms or not, they were discussed before the transition happened. That's why sometimes I truly struggle to understand why this issue continues to be presented as though it was an unexpected decision made years and years later. I think truly that the British government has consistently maintained that taxpayer-funded police protection is reserved for working members of the family based on official security assessments. And in fact, some of the members of the royal family don't really even have the security that Harry is asking. Okay, it just is based on security assessments. The policy applies broadly. It isn't just a rule created for Prince Harry. Yet it looks like Prince Harry has continued to fight these issues for years, and everybody is just getting tired of it. They wanted to make their own commercial decisions, sign media deals, and of course, build a private life outside the institution. That's what they wanted to do. But with this independence, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry should also accept that certain privileges no longer come with the role. Because again, you chose to leave the job. It seems difficult to argue that you no longer want the responsibilities of being a senior working royal while continuing to seek one of the most significant benefits attached to that position, and that is security. Okay, poor King Charles. He has reportedly expressed willingness to see his son and his grandchildren. And I can imagine that because he is a grandfather. And, with his health conditions, he probably really truly wants to see his grandkids. Reports also indicated that royal residences have been made available during these visits. So in other words, the door doesn't appear to be really completely closed. Okay, but they've made it clear. The palace made it clear that security decisions are not Prince Charles to make. Okay, in the UK, police protection is determined by appropriate government authorities, and that's RAVIC, not by Prince Charles, or King Charles, I'm sorry. Even if King Charles wanted to change the policy, which I do not think he really wants to, it isn't simply a matter of giving an order. For Harry's camp, it's also worth asking another question. Millions and millions of people travel to London every year. including, celebrities, politicians, business leaders, high profile public figures. They managed those visits with experienced private security teams. So, why is Prince Harry's situation presented as impossible unless he receives government funded police protection? That's what everybody is asking. Okay? And so far, there doesn't seem to be an answer that satisfies everyone. And what do we get from Prince Harry? A leaked report from his own security team saying that there are some attacks being planned. And that is really not good for, for all these planned events for this coming week. So I think I agree with some of commentaries. Now, people are going to be scared to go to those events. And it's going to affect the Invictus games now, or the plan for the Invictus games for 2027. So I agree. I think Harry should not go to the UK too. If he thinks he is the one that is the reason for this, maybe terrorist attacks, then maybe he should not just go. It's so unfortunate. This situation for Prince Harry is just so unfortunate, and it continues to loom over Harry and Meghan, and it's not giving them good publicity. It's all bad publicity. All these issues going on, they have the power to make a stop on it. If they really want to see Prince Charles, just go to the UK. Just go to the UK. There was a time that he was traveling and nobody knew he was traveling. So why is it that they cannot do that? Why do you have to announce to the world, unless you have some sort of a hidden agenda, why you want news media to be all over family affairs like this?